Being on TikTok, I learned that all passport bros are just predators. I don't know if you're on this side of TikTok, but every day
men saying, I've just decided altogether to avoid women, that it's better to be single, guys.
Get our passports, bro. They don't appreciate us here.
Men are traveling where they're wanted, not staying where they're being used.
What happened to happy wife, happy life?
If you're dating for money and you want a man that's going to spoil you, you cannot date men that are broke.
Can we talk about how hard it is to leave the good guy? When you say, I want a divorce, and he's like, no, I want to work this out.
Appreciation goes a long way. The good guys out there deserve somebody better. Kindly subscribe to the channel, as it is our sole form of support. Thank you.
Dear men, no matter how good of a man you think you are, no matter how good you treat her, if she's not reciprocating any type of effort and time back into the relationship, you're just overcompensating, choosing her and abandoning yourself. It's time to take back your control of your own life and choose you.
60% of men right now are not talking to women at all. What do you think men could do to have better success with women?
I'd say more confident, like a good sense of style. Don't not be yourself, don't act like someone you're not supposed to be. I'd say that. Mostly confidence. I feel like you just have to be confident in who you are and everything. It just shows and they'll respect that.
Should men still be confident if they're a fucking bum?
I don't know. I mean, I just don't agree with trying to be someone you're not. You can tell if someone's putting on a show or being fake about it.
Like be you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Find a unique way to lean into who you are.
I'd say so.
He forgot to say, make 6 figures, and these men have just come to accept reality. They've realized that the only way to win the game is to not play.
Okay, so we've all heard of passport bros at this point, right? I think it's time we start passport sisters. And hear me out. Please repost this, share this, whatever. I think women should start leaving. If men really don't want us that bad out here, it's pretty bad. Have you looked at any of the posts?
My dating experience in Korea hasn't been so great, and I learned kind of the hard way. Korean people don't really like black women so much. So I've tried to use a lot of Korean dating apps, and I used a lot of American dating apps, Bumble, Hinge, Tinder, etc., etc. And usually Korean people, if I use a Korean app, I get a lot of negative responses, and Korean people have told me I shouldn't be on the app, and they're not looking for people my color, things like that.
Why is it that Italians hate blacks? Some of Italians hate blacks. They don't like blacks. Can that be true? I don't get it. They don't like blacks. Almost 15 years in this country, I would say I have a little bit of experience. I know what I am really saying. Why some Italians don't like we foreigners? Can that be true? Yes, that can be true. They don't like blacks. Not all of them, don't get me wrong. Some of them love blacks. They love us. Why most of them, they don't want to see us.
Maybe that's your experience, but not ours. Passport bros.
I don't know why they always think they can compete, but it just doesn't work that way. Passport brothers exist for a reason. Men want traditional wives who bring peace, respect, and partnership into the relationship. The passport cis movement, on the other hand, exists because these women feel like they have something to prove, trying to show they can do what men do, as if it's some kind of competition. But the reality is, we are not the same. Men and women look for different things in relationships, and if women actually listened to men and understood what they truly want, men wouldn't feel the need to fly out to other countries to find wives. There are many factors as to why men are leaving, but some of the biggest reasons boil down to delusional expectations and extremely high demands. A lot of these women have a list of requirements: financial stability, emotional support, a luxury lifestyle. But they can't provide those same things for themselves. They expect a man to be the full package, but they don't hold themselves to the same standard. It's the entitlement that drives men away. No thank you.
am done with dating apps and I've been on a mission to meet a man in real life. You guys have been asking for updates. Here's the latest update. Okay, so I was seeing a couple guys that I did not meet on Hinge, went on a few dates with them. Unfortunately, neither of them were a match for me personally. Both lovely guys, just it wasn't it. So the roster's cleared. We're back in the trenches, but we're remaining hopeful.
If you've been wondering where are all the good men, I actually have some homework for you. Start to find and pay attention to the qualities that you love in the men who are around you. The men you know, the men you don't know, the guy at the grocery store who asks to help carry your stuff out to your car. Because when you say, where are all the good men, I already know that you are in a pattern of looking for negative qualities in men. And you're finding them. So start looking for the good men and you will find them.
Guys, let's get our passports, bro. They don't appreciate us here.
It's an opportunity for them to go in search of spouses who they feel are going to be more subservient to them and do what they want, basically some sort of indentured servitude.
It's easier for these men to go overseas, get one of these victims.
Stop! It's like deciding to leave the house and she continues throwing furniture at you. Get your passport, brothers, and find a queen. They're way past their prime, and they feel so insecure that they're turning into angry Karens. Why are they mad though? They all ran through, full of lies, have a stank attitude and want us to pick them. It's interesting to see the contradiction here. On one hand, these women claim they don't care about the passport bros, or what they do, insisting that it doesn't bother them at all. Yet their actions tell a different story. If they genuinely didn't care, they wouldn't be dedicating so much time and energy to making videos criticizing these men for seeking love and respect elsewhere. The reality is, these women are threatened by the idea that men have options and don't have to settle for being mistreated or undervalued. Their frustration isn't really about the passport bros or the women these men are choosing. It's about their own insecurities and the realization that they're being passed over. They fear losing control, and rather than improving themselves or changing their attitudes, they resort to bashing good men who simply want to be treated with kindness and appreciation.
So, a hyena asked me, "Girl, if you think we are the hyenas in the Western world, what do you call those passport bros, huh?" Well, obviously, they are the victims of the hyenas.
Men saying, I've just decided altogether to avoid women, that it's better to be single, guys. They're almost like happy about the fact that they're gonna make the choice to avoid the entire gender of women because they have yet to actually resolve the war they have within themselves.
It is not because they're fighting a war within themselves. It is because they found peace with themselves. And she was so close. She was just so close to getting there because at least she's recognizing what men are saying. Because they're tired of the complaining, the double standards, the expectations, and the risk of losing everything that they've built. There is no unresolved internal war going on in these men. He just found peace and contentment on his own instead of using that energy and effort on someone else.
I lost everything to the woman I trusted and was always faithful to. I'll never let anyone have that kind of power over me again. Haven't dated in 14 years. I will never marry. I adopted children. I have money. I have horses. I have peace. I have peace. I have peace. It is definitely better and safer. There is no war within ourselves. I haven't had an argument in 2 years. Personal best for me. I have more money than I've ever had, and I can do what I want with no consequences. For some men, it's really the trauma that comes with it all. The constant feeling of not being enough, not doing enough, or never being appreciated the way they need to be. It's the emotional exhaustion that builds up over time, from always being the one to sacrifice, to provide, to support, while receiving little to no reciprocity in return. Many men are tired of always being selfless, putting their woman first and making her needs the priority, only to be met with indifference or worse, being taken for granted. It's not just about feeling unappreciated.
Oh my gosh, dating is so rough. I kind of just want to give up on dating now. And I know I won't because I'm too much of a lover girl and a hopeless romantic. But I ended up calling my rare diamond of a man. I did take 2 shots of tequila before I called him because I knew this conversation was going to be very difficult for me. And yes, I know taking shots of tequila in the midday is not healthy for you, but don't judge me. I'm emotional. Anyways, I called him. I was bawling on FaceTime with him, and I ended up telling him that I had to end this because I'm going to be too emotionally attached to him than I already am. And that was the hardest thing for me to do because he was such a great guy. Like, he was such a sweetheart. He took good care of me. He was so loving towards me. He was so respectful, such a gentleman. And like, he was everything that I hope my future boyfriend will be, or future husband will be. But because he doesn't want a relationship, as we know, I knew I had to end it. I mean, he taught me a lot about myself, but it was definitely challenging. We're still friends, but here we go, more dates.
A lot of these passport bros are exploiting a power imbalance economically.
Y'all are taking advantage of these women.
If you feel that you need to go to Antarctica to marry a polar bear,
but they're still doing the, oh, we're just going to leave and go to another country and find women, or you're going to die alone. Good luck dying alone with your cats.
Get a polar bear.
Yeah, it is much easier for these passport bros to go to other countries and exploit younger, more impressionable, less educated or uneducated girls living in poverty.
You know why? Because we don't care. Look, we don't care.
We do not care.
Why do these women think that foreigners are dumb, uneducated, and being exploited? Do your homework. But they don't care, right? American women would rather have the foreign women stay poor than let an American man lift them up. But then say men are victimizing, claiming women overseas are subservient and submissive is a big tell. Clearly, these women always prioritize themselves in their relationships. Yeah, these women say they don't care, but then they make these unsubstantiated TikTok rants against them. Obviously, these women do care. These women are just ignorant, lonely, bitter, and just in need of attention from the same men they claim they do not want. They're beyond triggered. They're so obsessed with men going to other countries to find better for themselves. They can lie to themselves and each other all day, saying they don't care. But we see the truth plain as day.
You know, you leveled up when you used to be with a man that made you pay half on Plan Bs, and now you're with a man that just pays for it fully. Period. Girl breakfast. And it matches my... It's pink, because I'm just a girl. Everything pink.
You need help. Can we talk about how hard it is to leave the good guy? When you say, I want a divorce, and he's like, no, I want to work this out. Everything's going to be fine. You know, we can get through this. And he's so encouraging and everything's just so fucking peachy keen, right? We talk about how I'm manipulated into staying because he's a good guy. He does nothing wrong. Like, the only thing he's guilty of is being lazy and, you know, not putting in effort like we did when we were in the beginning of our relationship, like any other marriage. He doesn't beat me, he doesn't do anything, he doesn't take money from me, but he downplays my emotions. I don't think he fully understands me. And we've talked about this, y'all. This has all been in counseling, but how do you leave the good guy? I'm having like an internal battle right now because like I want to leave. I want to file divorce papers and I want to freaking run to Maine or something. I mean, am I the crazy one? Am I the crazy one because I keep throwing these fits and fighting with him? I look legit crazy because I literally stay in bed all day. A lot of that is because if I don't stay in bed all day, I will nitpick him. And I didn't start doing this until like last year. Like I don't, because I'm so unhappy with myself that I will nitpick him and tear him apart. So if I stay in bed, I won't be mean. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. And I'm only sharing this because I swear to God I promise transparency, and I swear to God I promise the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I am struggling today. But this has been an ongoing struggle for the past like 6 months of my marriage, and I've said it here and there in videos, but I've never gotten this raw. I'm tired of marriage counseling. I'm tired of trying. I'm ready to leave. I'm ready for a divorce. I'm exhausted. I'm mentally at my capacity. I feel like I'm stretched thin. I feel like I can't describe it. but I am not okay today.
Manipulated into staying, proceeds to explain that he's done nothing wrong. Leave so another woman can be blessed. My mum did this. My dad was a good guy, busy providing and supporting the family. She did nothing. She broke the family apart and moved away. She regrets that 10 years later she has nothing. She literally said that this man is a good man and great guy. How are all the women in the comments still blaming him? Crazy. The amount of men that feel like this, but stay regardless, and women who leave as soon as they don't feel happy, is insane. That man isn't lazy at all. It's just difficult to show effort to someone who only cares about themselves and doesn't reciprocate. No one wants to keep putting in energy when it's constantly one-sided. At this point, the woman just needs to leave and let that man find a good woman who will truly appreciate him. It's frustrating to watch because I don't understand this mindset some of these women have. Why leave the good guy if he's supposedly a good guy? Isn't that exactly what they said they wanted? It's almost like they don't even know what they truly want, or maybe they thought they did, until they realized it required effort on their part as well. The truth is, it often seems less about the man and more about their own internal issues. She should have started the video with, "I'm just so unhappy with myself," because that's what it feels like. It's not that the guy isn't good enough. It's that she's projecting her own dissatisfaction onto him, blaming him for problems that are rooted in her own unhappiness. Instead of working on herself, she's pushing away the one person who actually values her. It's self-sabotage at its finest, and unfortunately, the good guy gets caught in the crossfire.
80% of women on Hinge have their height limit set to 6 foot or above for men. That's less than 10 or 15% of men in the United States are above 6 foot. And height has zero predictive ability when it comes to looking at long-term relationship happiness. Imagine you saying to me, "I only date girls who are a size 4.5 shoe." I'd be like, why?
This is anecdotal, but I feel as though girls hold more of an animus towards these dating apps. They say, look, if I'm gonna get on Hinge, I'm gonna get the best of the best. And if it doesn't work, no problems for me. I don't give a shit if I get one match, if I get 10 matches. I'm on this thing to not get f***ed over. If I'm gonna get someone, they better be tall, they better be good looking, they better be this, and this.
Exactly. That's where things start to go wrong. These women prioritize superficial traits like height over character and personality. They get caught up in the idea of a tall, attractive guy without considering whether he treats them well or respects them. It's like they're so focused on checking off these physical boxes that they overlook the more important qualities that actually matter in a relationship. This kind of mindset is what leads them to get played. They end up with guys who know exactly how to use their looks to their advantage, telling them what they want to hear just to get what they want. And when things don't go as planned, these women are left feeling used and betrayed. The truth is, they set themselves up for disappointment by ignoring the warning signs and focusing solely on appearances.
What is wrong with men?
Eyes up here, gentlemen.
I just went on a first date. It was wonderful, it was beautiful, we had dinner, drinks, got along.
Okay, so what went wrong?
Tell me why this man at the end of the date goes, he walks me to my car and he goes, "Had such a wonderful evening with you. It was so great. Great to get to know you. Can I kiss you?" Don't ever ask a girl, "Can I kiss you?"
Oh dear.
That is an immediate ick.
So a guy asking permission to kiss you is an ick now? Okay.
Like, do you guys just not have balls anymore?
What? No, they're probably worried about possible charges.
Literally, you should have just gone and been like, "I had a great date with you, we had great chemistry," and then gave me a nice little smooch on the lips, and then we called it a night.
Something that one isn't taking into consideration is that with the wrong person, that could go oh so wrong.
There is nothing more unattractive than a man asking if they can kiss you. Men, do better.
Seriously? I can honestly say I can see how so many men would be confused what with all of the mixed messages being put out there. On one hand, you have some women saying that they want men to ask permission before doing absolutely anything, and then there's videos like this. I guess, guys, you just can't win.
Unless that man is not living in modern times where men are being accused for everything, that is not happening. It's already hard on men to make the first move when approaching a woman in the world. Just imagine going for the kiss. That man was a gentleman. He's just dealing with the wrong woman.
When I do choose to go on a date, I want you to feed me. I don't want to just go for drinks. And I feel like a lot of people will say like a coffee date or like, let's just go for drinks and like see if we vibe and then let's do dinner the next time. I see that as like, you're cheap. No, let's go to dinner. Let me see the way you order. Let's see your mannerisms. Let's see the vibes. You're going to order 1 dessert or 2 desserts. Let's see how generous you are. And I don't know, like I feel like already when you're going on a date, you're taking a risk. So like if you're not willing to like take the risk and feed me and you're only like down to take me for drinks, I find that weird. Like I'm not into that.
Dating to these women is like an experiment. Sometimes they really forget why they're there. What's the issue with going for drinks to see if there's a connection? And going on dates 2 or 3 times a week cost money. It doesn't matter if you're a 6-figure earner or not. What's worse? When you go on these dates, she's just expecting to come and eat, not contribute anything. Whenever a woman say, "Come show me how generous you are," she's gauging her interest by how much you spend on the date. These types aren't looking for something serious. It's just a free meal ticket to them.
You guys know that there's a trend encouraging men to all get passports and travel abroad. It's not just for sights or good food. No. It's to find wives. To find women who are more traditional. They're traveling all across the world just to find women who are more humble, more feminine, and willing to treat their men better than women in the US. Traveling to places like Italy, Thailand, Brazil, just to find women who will treat them right. The passport bros ideology is that they're escaping the hatred of feminist women and are traveling somewhere they can thrive. They believe the ideology that by seeking foreign women, they can find a more authentic, fulfilling, and harmonious relationship. This is seen as a way to restore the natural balance between masculine and feminine energy. This is triggering some women because they think that these men are interested in finding these women. They think they will be more submissive. I'm not sure if this trend / movement is gonna end or only get worse. What do you guys think?
Passport bro here. Married 25 years and counting. Best decision of my life. Been on 2 dates. First one asked about my credit score. Second one was married but looking. So I understand the passport bros trend. Nothing to do with submissive, but rather finding another half that has morals and knows how a relationship actually works. We flipped over the Monopoly board because we were tired of throwing away money and time on an endless game.
Sometimes dating the nice guy just isn't enough. Let me explain. When all you know is toxic relationships and unhealthy relationships, of course you're going to gravitate towards the nice guys who are chivalrous, generous, kind, have a good heart, ones that make you feel safe, the ones that make you feel really good, unlike anything you've ever felt in any other relationship. And we stay with them because we've never been in a healthy relationship before, and we're like, why would we leave this situation when I finally found something good? However, you can be with a nice guy and he's not able to fulfill other desires of yours. Maybe he's a really good guy, but he doesn't want kids. Maybe he's a really good guy and he doesn't want to get married. Maybe he's a really good guy, but he's not fulfilling your sexual desires. Maybe he's a really good guy, but he has no emotional intelligence. And the point of this is, you don't have to settle just because he's a nice guy. Make sure that you are getting 100% in a relationship. Yeah, he doesn't want to have kids, but he's such a good guy. Yeah, he's super busy, but he's such a good guy. And we tell ourselves this and we stay. So a guy doesn't have to be a bad guy. He doesn't have to be cheating on you. He doesn't have to be a narcissist or any of those things. Sometimes when you're with a really good guy, doesn't mean that he's the guy for you. And at the end of the day, always remember your wants and needs should come first. And if you're giving 100% in a relationship, you should be getting 100% back, no matter how good of a guy he is. Sending you all love, and just know that you are enough and you deserve everything and the very, very best.
So what she's saying is, she's never going to be happy no matter who she's with. This is advice for women who want to be alone forever. So just stay single, gents. Build your wealth, hit the gym, and you don't settle. This advice goes both ways. You want the thrill of a roller coaster and security of the Ferris wheel. You have to negotiate a middle ground. When women seek perfection, they tend to regret going down that path because relationships are inherently imperfect. The pursuit of a flawless partner often leads to disappointment because the idealized version of a partner simply doesn't exist. People are human, with flaws, quirks, and shortcomings. In chasing perfection, women may overlook genuine, good-hearted men who could provide them with love, stability, and companionship. These men might not meet every single item on their checklist, but they could offer something far more valuable, a real, lasting connection. In a relationship, nobody gets 100% of what they want out of it. It's all about compromise. Overall, the message she's sending out is saying, stay single, because no matter what you do, it will never be enough.
Girls be like, I like him. Why can't he make the first move? Why don't you make the first move? What? Get your man, sis.
Do not teach a man how to be your man. Do not ask him to show you off. Do not ask him to text you. Do not ask him to care about you. Do not ask him to bring you random flowers. Do not ask him to plan dates. The right one will know exactly what to do and when to do it. Call me for more. Bye.
Once again, the most terrible advice comes from single women keeping other women single. This right here highlights why these women are so miserable when dating. They're expecting their boyfriends to be mind readers like he's some kind of psychic. If you want your needs to be met, you must communicate it and be clear with what you are saying. No one has time to play mind games.
I don't cook, I don't clean, I don't want children. Where are all the good men at?
Look at this article I found today. The dangerous rise of men who won't date woke women. Pathetic. I know you probably can't tell, but I'm quite woke and very alert to social injustice. Woke discrimination in dating should not be tolerated. Also, who wouldn't want this? I mean, look at these bangs. They're perfect. Come to think of it, I've been single for the past 10 years, ever since I started free bleeding in women's marches. But what kind of man doesn't love that level of confidence? I don't even have that many dating requirements. I mean, he has to be a vegan, obviously, and he must have his pronouns in his bio. He must provide proof of vaccination and all his boosters, and he must wear an N95 mask or equivalent during sex, but forget about condoms because that's what abortion healthcare is for. He needs to be okay with the fact that I don't shave any body hair, but he has to be perfectly manscaped with the body of Chris Hemsworth. He also must be okay with the fact that I wear natural deodorant. It doesn't really work, but at least I don't have aluminum seeping into my skin. And last but not least, he must not like video games or sports. So I don't really know what the problem is. I'm a total catch. Did you ever think that maybe it's your attitude? Or maybe it's your irrational list of standards? What do you mean attitude? Also, I don't have to lower my standards for any man or anyone.
This right here is a perfect representation, and men can definitely spot these types of women from miles away. They have this energy that just screams trouble, insufferable, entitled, and very hard to deal with. It's like every conversation or interaction is a battle, and no man with any self-respect or standards would willingly put himself through that kind of hell. Dealing with these, woke women feels more like a chore than a relationship, constantly tiptoeing around their opinions and inflated sense of self-importance. It's exhausting because they often come with an air of superiority, thinking they're more enlightened or evolved, when in reality they're just difficult.
So if you ask 100% of women what they want in a guy, they list 20% of men, sometimes less. So if you want a guy that's over 6 foot, that's only 15% of guys. You want him to be good looking, cut it in half. You want him to make money, cut that in half.
Your standards are too high. Well, those standards protect me from low quality experiences, and that's why I'm not afraid to say no.
I'm on my way to a date with a 35-year-old. I'm 25. I normally date younger. Like, to be honest, 28, 29 is like my sweet spot, but I've kind of been liking this vibe he's been giving. It's always difficult dating older men, like 35 and up, because it's like, okay, are they single and that's why, because they're a red flag, or are they just like mature and they got out of, like, it's so hard to determine. And he has no kids either, so I don't know if he's ever been in like a super serious relationship, or maybe he just takes having kids really seriously. I don't know. I have had a couple red flags from him, like, I mean, he did try and cut me off because, like, I have been acting really immature about, like, meeting up. Like, I have not been very receptive, but, like, I've called him when I'm out and lit. So I have just been kind of acting like a fucking little ditz. So that makes sense why he'd be frustrated. And I haven't allowed him to take me on a real date yet. But today, he was like, when he was telling me he was going on the date, he was like, I'm taking you on a date tomorrow. Like, I'm not even asking. I'm telling you.
I wonder if she played this video back before posting it. How is he the red flag when you're the one that's acting immature? I think any man with enough respect for himself would cut you off or be frustrated with you as well. And why are you dating guys that you're not really into anyway? You're just wasting your time and his time. What is the point in doing that?
Tell me why, okay? Tell me why. I very reluctantly get onto dating apps here and there, knowing damn well I'm not dating right now. It's one of my toxic traits. I don't want to talk about it, okay? But what I do want to talk about is how I felt like there were so many old men. I'm like, why are there so many old men on here liking me? Why? What is happening? What's happening here? Then I realized these men are my age. These men are my age. I'm old. When am I going? What's not clicking, Rachel? What is wrong with me? I'm over it. I'm calling the cops. I'm disgusted. I'm done.
Like, I see a tremendous number of divorces when husband and wife are both working and husband loses job. Big precipitator for divorce. I've seen a lot of women that when their spouse loses the job and they become the breadwinner, they find that very unappealing. That that a man as the breadwinner was appealing. The man as economic equal is appealing. The man as I have to take care of him financially and provide for him, very uncomfortable. So I see it. When a man loses his job, I would love if they kept statistics on these kinds of things. But I can tell you in my practice, I've seen plenty of women lose their job. It has no impact on the marriage. Men lose their job in a heterosexual male-female marriage. It is disastrous consequences a great deal of the time.
If you were working and lost your job and your wife initiated a divorce because of it, she was never really fully in the marriage. That woman was only there because you had something she wanted and you was providing it. If she leaves when you hit a rough patch, it shows that her loyalty was only surface deep, tied more to financial stability than emotional support or genuine love. It proves that she was only there for the good times, the benefits, and what you could provide. This kind of reaction reveals that her love was conditional, and as soon as the conditions weren't favorable anymore, she was ready to bail. In moments like that, it becomes clear that she wasn't invested in building a future together, but rather in what she could gain from the present. It's a painful realization, but one that forces you to see who was really in the relationship for the right reasons.
There is a reason that men make fun of single women.
And what reason would that be?
Whether it be a single mom or someone who's just chosen to never marry. And it's because they feel threatened.
Somehow I doubt that.
The more women who take that route, the less women there will be available to them. And they're afraid of other women looking at those women who are single and being like, oh, like she's actually pretty happy and satisfied, and then following suit.
That's an interesting theory. I'll give one that.
So they make fun of them and try to paint them in a bad light so that doesn't happen.
That doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
And the reason men want a larger dating pool is not because they actually like women and want to find like their soulmate or someone they love they want to share their life with.
Oh, okay. So what is the reason?
They're afraid of being alone. Well, they are afraid of being alone.
Some perhaps, but a large amount of men are actually perfectly happy being single.
But it's because they don't know how to do things for themselves. They want a wife because they want someone to cook and clean for them and take care of everything and basically be their mother who they can also sleep with.
That's actually not what most men want, but by all means, go on with that narrative.
Nothing makes a man angrier than seeing an older woman who is single and happy. Before men come in my comments like, I am married. I am married to a man. But if you don't want to be alone forever, you're just going to have to step up because women are finally standing up for themselves and asking for more. And that more is what they've always deserved.
Granted, there are some men out there that do seem to enjoy making fun of women that are single. However, whether right or wrong, a lot of those women tend to make it a little bit too easy to do. But I digress. But do bear in mind that there are quite a few men out there that are actually choosing the peace of being single for a lot of the same reasons that women are. But I guess if one is going to worry about men making fun of women that are going to remain single, then I suppose one should keep that same energy for women that make fun of men for doing the very same thing.
I've been single for a decade, worked on myself, and if this woman is what's out there, I'll stay single. That's the kind of theory that only comes with someone who sees connecting with others as a game you're supposed to win. Peace and quiet in your circle is the most important part of a man's life, and women think that they own that peace and quiet that you have. I'm 35, I was married and was so unhappy. Now I'm divorced and single again. I'm happy. Everyone deserves love though. I've never known any man that this woman is describing, but the theory she came up with is pretty funny though. It's ironic, especially because there are plenty of women who claim to be happily single, yet are still out here seeking men. It really begs the question, if you're truly happier without men, why are you still looking for one? It's contradictory. If being single is so fulfilling, shouldn't they be content with that life instead of constantly searching for a relationship? The truth is, a lot of these women might say they're happy being single, but deep down, many of them still crave companionship, validation, and emotional support that only a partner can provide. It's almost like they're trying to convince themselves, or maybe others, that they don't need men, but their actions tell a different story. The reality is, many of them are still dating, still going out, still looking for someone to fill that void they won't admit exists.
And I read with interest. Turns out since 2019, the share of single men who say they're looking for dates or a relationship has declined from 61% to 50%. In 2018, 28% of men ages 18 to 30 reported they'd had no sex in the past year, 18% of women of that age. The Hill report said men in their 20s are more likely than women in their 20s to be romantically uninvolved, sexually dormant, friendless, and lonely. They stand at the vanguard of an epidemic of declining marriage, sexuality, and relationships that afflicts all of young America. Among the causes, among the factors, a reliance on social media. More young women are hooking up with each other or dating and marrying slightly older men, and heterosexual women are getting more choosy. Other troubling statistics.
Hey, look, they're nailing it.
About men come from a 2020.
Because these feminist women are delusional, have unrealistic standards, don't want to be wives, are promiscuous. We men deserve better than that. Women statistically only go for the top 10% of dudes. This will lead to a drastic drop in the birth rate, John replacement rate. Don't worry, those women will be crying when they're 40 because those men ain't keeping them all. I might get a future wife from overseas. Time to get my passport. With more accessibility to partners over the internet, women chase after the top-tier men and are just sharing. Social media, dating apps, and online platforms have created a situation where these women can easily seek out the most attractive, successful, or popular guys. As a result, these top-tier men receive most of the attention, while many other men feel overlooked or undervalued. This dynamic often leads to women competing for the same few guys, who may not be interested in settling down, knowing they have plenty of options. Overall, it's just cheaper to be single. Men see the financial and emotional risks involved in relationships today and weigh those against the potential benefits. For many, the math just doesn't add up.